Santa Cruz County Public Media family and friends, welcome again to Meet Your Local Candidates. We are here in Morley Avenue, and we are here in our fairly new studio. We've been here about good 6-7 months, and that's when we started Meet Your Local Candidates. And we are happy to continue to broadcast positive and educational news from our county. So thank you so much for watching us. And we will not stop Meet Your Local Candidates until all of our candidates have done, all the candidates that reach out to us have done their interview. We're working very hard here in We Love Nogales in Santa Cruz County Public Media to modify his schedules and everything to make sure all of our candidates that are reaching out to us, their voice gets heard equally. So thank you so much to all of our audience for watching us. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for being with us, because it's very important to go outside and vote. It's almost time. You probably received your ballot. A couple of you probably received your ballots already early. And if not, you're probably waiting for November 5th. So please take a look, watch us. We're live right now. We're live in YouTube and we're live on Facebook. Then later, all this amazing interviews with our local candidates, with our communities too, they go into Spotify, they go into Roku TV, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. So please, send us a message and come and visit us at our studio in Morley. And today I have the pleasure to say hi and to connect again to Mr. Gerry Navarro. Mr. Gerry Navarro is running for District 2 for the Board of Supervisors. And yes. Thank you for coming to our studio.
Thank you, Marisa, for having me. It was a pleasure to be here with all of you. And I want you to know that my candidacy is all about you. It's not about me, because I want to represent you. I want to be your candidate. I want to be the one who focuses on what we can do to make things better for our county.
Thank you, Mr. Navarro, for that. I think our audience appreciates that very much, to get to hear from the local candidate directly, from their voice, from the person here, just talking together, sitting. I think it's a lot of accountability and a lot of, getting to know the person, because we've seen around District 2, your banners, your flyers, your information, but how great it is from person to connect and then to talk to people here, to our audience. So thank you so much. We appreciate that very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Marisa. It's so much fun that I've had going door to door talking to people. Mm-hmm. And I have learned from them so much.
Yes.
And they have challenged me in a way, mm-hmm. to investigate on certain things that I've heard. Okay. And found out that things aren't always what they seem to be. One of our opponents is running for supervisor, but he's also running for the school board. And yet, if you look at his billboards or his announcements, okay. It says his name, and it just says vote for him.
Okay.
But it doesn't say what position.
I see.
Why is he being deceptive? Mm-hmm. That's not right. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's a conflict of interest. You're in the school board. Either you're in the school board or you're a county supervisor, because county supervisor is a full-time job. There's no part-time about it. And you cannot hold two positions, because you're going to be a slave to two positions, and that's not going to happen.
I see.
And that's not a good idea. Mm-hmm. We've seen it already, and look what happened. Please ask yourself, or ask your candidate that you're going to vote for, what is his background? Okay. What is he about? Mm-hmm. Because those are the things that matter. Accountability is so important. Mm-hmm. Honesty is so important, that without those things, then what do we have? We just have another guy who's part of the swamp, that he wants to be in there and be the good old boy. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, that's not me. I'm already retired. I don't need the job. I want the job, but not for me. I want it for you. I want it for the people I'm going to represent, because they're the ones who deserve an honest, hardworking supervisor.
I see.
And that's my total commitment, will be to that position. Not to another job, not to some other job that I own. No, just one job.
Thank you.
Because it is so important to know what you're doing, because there's a lot of stuff you got to read up on. There's a lot of stuff you got to know. And you know what helps me, 30 years as a police officer, state police, 25 of those years I was an investigator. And guess what? That part of this job is doing investigations. Part of this job is getting to know the law. And as a police officer, they train us not only how to read the law, but interpret it and adjudicate it. And you know what? These other guys don't know that. And we already seen the results of not knowing what the law says, or how to interpret it, or how to adjudicate it. So therefore, I bring to the table a little bit more than most already. And if you look at my trajectory on my work history, 30 years state police. There you lie once and you get fired. There is no second chance. And by the way, you lose your peace officer standard training certification. That means you can never be a police officer in this state again. And by the way, that goes national too. They notify all the other states. So you'll never be a peace officer in another state too. Those things are important. Reliability. You have a job where you're reliable. You've been there for so long. My opponent has had so many different jobs. Why does he have so many different jobs? Something's not right. Ask him why. Why was he let go of any of these jobs? Based on what? I understand changing jobs is you want to change a job to better yourself. For example, when I first came to Arizona, I worked at the prison for 6 months, and that was it. And then I worked for Coolidge PD for 2 years. Well, that was an upgrade. After Coolidge PD, I went to state police.
Okay.
That was an upgrade. But that was my choice.
I see.
I wasn't fired. I did it because I wanted to better myself.
I see.
And that's, when you look at something like that, ask yourself, who's somebody who's had so many different jobs, did he do it on his own, or was he forced to do it?
I see.
And that all goes back to integrity. Integrity is when you do the thing that you know is right when nobody else is looking. Nobody else is seeing what you're doing. And that's integrity. And does the person have it, or he doesn't? When they don't tell you the full truth, why?
Right. And thank you for sharing those highlights. I always, and like we just talked about, I think it's also the accountability of our leader, that it's sitting here sharing directly to our audience your thoughts, your goals, the opportunities that you can provide for our county, for our district. So running for District 2, for Board of Supervisor, Mr. Gerry Navarro. And we got to know a couple of months back when you sat down here, the very first interview. And thank you for your service, by the way. Thank you for all you did for the different communities around. We appreciate being the wife of a first responders. I always appreciate the work and the commitment for it.
I know your husband was a firefighter, and the funny thing is, when I was with Coolidge PD, not only was I a police officer, I was also a firefighter. As a matter of fact, I was an engineer on an old LaFrance.
Oh, wow.
Ask your husband what a LaFrance is. It's a specific type of engine.
Wow.
But and I was also an EMT on the ambulance. So I was triple trained.
Wow, yeah. So thank you again for all your work, for all you did with the different communities, and so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And sharing all that, your service, your commitment, then you get retired, and then you mentioned, you think, I'm gonna run for District 2, for Board of Supervisor. What inspired you to run for this time?
I've always had a service for my community. And if you go to my website, jerryworksforyou.com, you'll find out that I wasn't just a police officer here in this county. I was also a Little League president, coach, umpire, I've always done stuff with my community, my church, 12 years as a trustee. I've always been involved in my community in one form or another, and that's because I love my community. I love Nogales. I love Santa Cruz County. And my way of showing this is because when I saw what's been happening in the last few years, and you know, we got to stop this. We got to get people in there that are really going to be committed to the job and get it done and do it right. We're the poorest county in the state, or second poorest county, or, you know, either way, it's just as bad. And then we're also highest unemployment, 22% or better. That's not good. We need to bring jobs. We need to bring accountability to what's going on and hold people accountable for what they're being paid for. And that's what I'm going to do as a supervisor. I know what the law says. Before I even applied for this position, I looked up what the law says. I know the 17 different responsibilities that the law says they're required to be in charge of. And I also know what they can and can't do.
I see.
And we need to get somebody in here that's going to say, okay, let's take charge. Let's get a mission statement. I haven't seen a mission statement in the county's website. What is the county's mission statement? I'm sure they got to have one somewhere, but why don't they show it? Why don't they tell people what it is?
I see.
There's got to be also accountability as to the employees. Do they give them evaluations? If they don't, why don't they give employees evaluations? It's always a good thing to give employees evaluation, because I remember working for the state. I always had every 6 months an evaluation as to how I did for the past 6 months, and what they expect of me in the future, the next 6 months, and what they would like to see.
Nice.
You know, and that's how they evaluated me. And I always got excellent evaluations because I was a hard worker.
I see.
And a leader is somebody who leads by example.
Yes.
And that's me.
Thank you for sharing and all those details, right? There's sometimes like the community, I learn every day that when we do Meet Your Local Candidates, when we do our program about border connections, so I get to expand my knowledge with leaders, with business owners, with artists. So how important it is, you know, what you're sharing about having mission statements, having mission values, and how important it is also to put it, but also to develop it within the organization, within the county.
And all of this is basically to develop and improve the employee, make him better at what he does.
Yes, definitely.
And you're basing it on what they're supposed to do anyway. And you want to make them a better employee. You want to make them more productive. You want to make them feel like that they really have accomplished something, and that they are focused on the mission of what they have to do. And a public servant is one who helps. Just by the mere word public and servant. What does a servant do? He helps.
Right.
And public means that's everybody as a public servant. And when I used to work as a DPS officer, I always asked myself, did I give the people of the state of Arizona their money's worth today? In other words, what I got paid for my salary for today, did I give them not only what I earned, I always thought of it as I got to give them more than what I earned.
I see. Why?
Because you have to have the heart of a public servant, the heart of a leader, to go out there and work harder.
Definitely, and thank you for sharing those very important highlights. And do you think, Mr. Navarro, that will be something that you will be able to implement if you get elected as a District 2 Board of Supervisor?
I think that it's very likely we can, because once we see things like that, along with that goes this. I know that in this county, we have a lot of good employees, hard workers.
Yes.
And do they get valued? What by that I mean, is there like a monthly employee of the month, or employee of the year, or are they recognized in any shape, way, or form? I've never heard of anything, but you know what? Even if I have to pay it out of my own pocket, I would like to recognize the good employees. I would like the people of our county to say, hey, I met Joe so-and-so, and he went above and beyond what he was supposed to do, and he did a great job, and I want to thank you for this employee.
Yes.
And I want his supervisor to be able to say, hey, so-and-so works for me, and he does a great job, and this is how he does above and beyond.
Mm-hmm. How important, right? How
we need to,
yes.
we need to tell our good employees you're doing a great job.
Right.
And those employees that are not doing a great job, it will help them to understand and encourage them to do better.
Yes, definitely.
And then they're going to say, well, I want to be Employee of the Month.
Right, right.
And I don't blame them. I got DPS Officer of the Year. That's only one officer a year that gets that.
Yes.
So that's a high honor. But even higher than that, I was also runner-up for State Employee of the Year.
Wow.
And think about this, all the employees of the state. Mm-hmm. There were several of us that were runner-ups.
Wow.
But there's only one State Employee of the Year, but at least I was a runner-up.
Wow, yes.
Among all the thousands and thousands of state employees.
Of course. No, yeah, it's such a big accomplishment.
So that speaks to my honesty.
Yes.
It speaks to my ethics. Mm-hmm. I'm a hard worker. And that's what we need.
I see.
We need those kind of things because those are the things that we want our employees to have. Mm-hmm. We want them to be like that. We want them to be proud of what they're doing.
I see.
Feel that they accomplished this and be able to say, wow, I did this the last 6 months.
I see.
This, and this. And you know what? Pretty soon, it's like it catches on like wildfire. Mm-hmm. I've seen it in DPS where we had some mediocre employees that all of a sudden they weren't mediocre. They're going to be great employees. And I can see that here happening. And I want that to happen.
Yes, that will be great. I mean, I think, and that's part of our mission and vision in Santa Cruz County
Mission
Public
and vision.
Media. Yes, and we love Nogales. We want to make sure that, like people get to know our candidates, people get to know our leaders, because we want to encourage as well local leaders, business person in us bringing broadcasting, right, our community to the world with educational news, with positive news about this is who we are and this is how we're working every single day harder to make sure that our local candidates, that our businesses, the people that follow us, we're working with the same vision, with the same goal of making sure that we have a healthy community, that we have a community going, developing.
And that's why I want to thank you so much for having this program, because this is really this is the grassroots of all the things we do.
Right.
Because I know there's some employee out there looking at me right now and saying, does he really mean this? Well, guess what? Wait until I get into office, God willing, and you'll see I really do mean it. You see I really do care. You see that I want you to succeed. I want you to become the best employee that you can be for all our sakes.
Right, thank you. And thank you, yes, of course, thank you for sharing all those great highlights. Also, Mr. Gerry Navarro, running for District 2 for Board of Supervisor. We always talk about education. We always know how important are our new generations as parents, as grandparents, as brothers or sisters, but how important it is for our children that are graduating high school, and then for them maybe not knowing yet what to do, but how important it's to give them choices within our county that they can be affordable. That has been also.
That's one of my pet peeves that I really would like to see accomplished. I want to bring a school,
a
vocational school that where it's here in town. Not that they have to go to Tucson, here. And I want it to be state of the art. I want it to be something that we as a county can be proud of.
Yes.
And let's face it, how many of you out there have tried to get an electrician, try to get a plumber, try to get an air conditioner repairman, and you're going, well, it takes forever. Yeah, well, guess what? A lot of these kids that graduate from high school, they don't want to be going to college for 4 years and having this big debt on their heads. They want to be able to get something that they would like to do.
Of course.
You know, there's nothing worse than going to a job that you don't like in life. And my dad always said, son, I don't care what you do in life, love what you do and be the best at it.
Definitely.
And that's what it's about. You know, how did I become a police officer? God guided me in that section. I thought I was going to be a architect. Okay, that went by the wayside really quick. I got out of high school, went in the Marine Corps, and they made me a military policeman. And then I never went to Vietnam because my brother was over there, and they never send brothers to the same conflict.
I see.
So I was first in Lejeune, and then he sent me to El Toro for presidential security. That's when Nixon was president.
Okay.
So I've been a policeman all my life. And one of the big questions before everybody asks, I know you're going to ask, but one of the big questions is why didn't you run for sheriff?
Ah, okay.
Right? I mean, that's a fair question, I would say.
Yes, definitely, of course.
Well, I've been married 51 years.
Okay.
And my wife, whom I love dearly, she's still my girlfriend, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She said, I love you, but whatever you want to do, don't go into law enforcement anymore. And you know what? I have to agree with her. My last 3 years with DPS were not exactly what I wanted to do. I was switched from border liaison to intelligence because I got a death threat from the cartels. And that's because I did my job.
Of course.
And I didn't back down. And I did what I was supposed to.
I see.
And the reason they did that death threat was false. They lied. And when Chapo found out that he was lied to, he took care of his problem because it was his people who lied. And I had nothing to do with it.
Wow.
And el que nada debe, nada teme.
Claro, sí, claro.
So I'm just grateful that God has blessed me with such a great wife. And if you see all my posters and everything you see, all my announcements and everything that I have, guess who did it? My wife. Guess who's my treasurer? My wife. And she's also Jesus Cereza's treasurer too.
Oh, that's awesome. Sí.
And she worked for Chase Bank for 34 years.
Wow.
Well, actually started out with Valley Bank and then Bank One, then it changed to Chase. But while she worked there, she did audits. She knows how to do audits.
Right.
And guess who's going to help me if I ever have to do an investigation? How to pinpoint things, what to look for, and what are the pitfalls. And because in any investigation, what really counts is experience.
Exactly.
in that item. And let's face it, I don't know much about banks other than what she tells me. And so she'll be able to guide me. That's something
awesome.
none of the other candidates have. I'm sorry, guys, but I happen to have an awesome wife. Sorry.
Y lo felicito por esa interacción. A mí me gusta mucho cuando se platica de qué importante es las parejas y la unión, porque pues, la unión hace la fuerza, pero a la misma vez esa interacción y ese apoyo entre los esposos es lo que también, qué importante es que lo vea nuestra audiencia, porque sabe que usted está inspirando también a otras generaciones cuando sea tiempo a lo mejor de reelegir, que otras personas vayan a quererse postular para un puesto. Entonces, qué bonita esa plática de decir, y tengo el apoyo de mi familia. Y pasa muy seguido compartiendo otros candidatos, decir que tienen el apoyo de alguien, pienso que es todo un ejemplo a seguir con nuestras generaciones de decir, tu apoyo debe de venir desde la familia, y aquí estar presentes.
Y una cosa quiero decirles a nuestros auditorio es esta. En mi candidatura, las personas que me están apoyando en cuestión de cuánto dinero me están dando para mi candidatura, mis hijos, mi hija, mis hermanos, mi hermana, son los que están contribuyendo lo más.
Wow.
Hay 2 negocios chicos que han contribuido $500 cada uno, pero los dueños de esos negocios, ellos van a mi iglesia, me conocen. Me conocen muy bien, saben qué tan honesto y qué tan trabajador soy.
Right.
Entonces, me da pauta para decirles a ustedes esto. yo voy a ser el supervisor más honesto, más trabajador, el más fiel que hayan tenido en el pasado. Y a mí no me van a pasar nada por encima porque voy a estar vigilando lo que el condado está haciendo.
Exacto.
¿Por qué? Porque yo trabajo para ustedes. Yo no trabajo para mí. Yo voy a estar aquí porque yo quiero que ustedes hagan mejor. Quiero que se vengan los negocios. Quiero que crezcamos en una forma limpia y buena.
Gracias.
Y muchas de las cosas que dicen es, por ejemplo, de los 39.4 millones que nos robaron. Ok. Dicen, pues la verdad es esta. ¿Cuánto nos va a regresar? Porque estamos pagando un ojo a la cara a las personas que están cuidando ahorita todo eso.
Sí.
¿Cuánto vamos a regresar? Pues, ¿saben qué? Hay un, ¿cómo se dice? Insurance, seguro.
Sí, una aseguranza.
Una aseguranza que tiene el condado. Necesita uno ver la póliza para ver si es posible que nos regresen y nos reintegren todo lo que hemos perdido. Menos lo que nos regresen, ¿verdad? Obviamente, no nos van a dar más de lo que perdimos. Pero cuando menos, ver eso y a ver qué podemos hacer para que nos regresen lo más posible.
Exacto.
Porque pues es gran dinero, ya lo sabemos, es mucho dinero.
Exacto.
Y no cualquiera lo toma nomás parado.
Exacto.
Y yo sé que cuando uno entra a una posición de trabajo del tipo que yo estoy hablando, para ser supervisor necesitas supervisar.
Claro.
Necesitas ver y entender y saber cómo leer lo que estás leyendo, interpretarlo y luego manejarlo.
Exacto.
Para el bien de todos, porque de eso se trata, para el bien de todos.
Gracias, señora Gerry Navarro, corriendo para supervisor del distrito número 2. Y gracias, sí, por compartir todas estas visiones, ¿no? Y todas estas también como ideas de acción para tomar una vez si se postula a el puesto de supervisor del distrito número 2. ¿Usted piensa, señor Gerry Navarro, que eso pudiera ser una meta de usted como supervisor, ver cómo se pudiera traer algo de ese dinero que se llegó a perder ahora de regreso al condado?
Sí, la forma es de saber qué es lo que dice el seguro, la póliza del seguro, saberlo interpretar bien, porque a lo mejor nos dicen que no nos van a dar nada, o sí nos van a dar. Pero yo creo que sí, porque muchas de las pólizas están hechas precisamente por esos problemas, esos tipos de problemas. Sí. Pero no sabiendo lo que dice la póliza todavía, pues no puedo decirles que sí.
Right.
Nunca, si un candidato les promete algo, entiendan esto, está mal prometer algo que no cabe dentro de ti hacerlo. Por ejemplo, 2 supervisores tienen que estar de acuerdo para que cambie algo. Si nomás uno lo quiere hacer, no lo va a hacer. Tenemos que ser 2. Entonces, lo único que sí les puedo prometer de mí es lo que ya les dije, ser el más honesto, ser el más trabajador, ser el que va a estar por delante vigilando todo lo que está pasando en nuestro condado para el bien de todos nosotros. Eso lo puedo hacer porque cabe de mí, dentro de mí, y habiendo sido investigador, eso me va a ayudar mucho en ver las cosas muy distintas que cualquiera de los otros candidatos, conociendo la ley del Estado.
Ay, exacto, sí, muchísimas gracias. Y gracias por su servicio, como le mencioné pasado, tiene historial en el ejército, tiene historial en la policía y tiene historial en el departamento de bomberos, así que lo felicito por todo ese trabajo humanitario que hace y ha hecho con nuestra comunidad, y ahora está corriendo para supervisor del distrito número 2, señor Gerry Navarro, ¿no? Para Santa Cruz County Supervisor. Algo más, y está pasando el tren, pero platíqueme, señor Gerry Navarro, ¿dónde Ya vamos a empezar a votar, estamos esperando boletas y sé que lo hemos repetido mucho porque queremos mucho que nuestra comunidad salga a votar. Entonces, déjeme saber también dónde lo pudiéramos ver, si va a estar en algún lugar para poderle preguntar cosas directamente, ya sea en español, en inglés, y dónde lo pudiéramos conocer las personas que no lo
El día
conocen.
19, que es este sábado que viene,
Okay.
voy a estar en el centro comunitario en Rio Rico,
Okay.
Rio Rico Community Center on Saturday, entre las 12 y las 5, between 12 and 5. I'll be at the Rio Rico Community Center. There's going to be, by the way, we're going to have it hosted, and there's going to be tacos.
Ah, okay.
So vengan a comer tacos.
Sí,
Come and have
sí,
some tacos.
right.
Talk to your candidates. We will
course.
be there. We will answer your questions. And believe me, I've had some good questions. I've been on the radio with Maxima,
Okay.
and they. By the way, the 16th I have a radio interview on Maxima. I've had several already, but this time I'm going to do it in English.
Okay.
I want everybody to know on the 16th between 12 noon and 1 p.m.
Okay.
I'm going to be on the radio, Maxima 99.1 FM,
Awesome.
and I will be talking to you in English.
Okay.
And then my next one will be the 4th of November, the day before election.
Okay.
And same time, noon to 1, and I will be bilingual there because if you ask me a question in Spanish, I'll answer it in Spanish. If you ask me a question in English, I'll answer it in English because we deserve someone
Of course.
who will be able to speak to all of the constituents
I see.
and speak fluently. Because I know my opponents don't speak fluently, and I don't know if he knows how to read it or write it, either one of them, I don't know. But I do, and you go to my website and it proves it right there. And when you go there, remember, it comes up in English, but on the top right, there'll be 3 lines, or it'll say Espanol. Hit that, turns everything to Spanish.
I see. Okay.
And I'm very, I keep repeating that because that's very important, because I don't want someone going to my website and say, oh, it's in English and I can't read English.
Okay. So there's a translation.
Está traducido todo al
Muy bien.
español. En mi página web, vayan ahí y vean que arriba a la mano derecha, por 3 rayitas, o va a decir español, oprímanle ahí para que cambie todo español.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So the 19 from 12 to 5, and we will be sharing also the flyer on our screen.
Yes.
At the Rio Rico Community Center. And then you have another one on October 21st.
Yes, October 21st at the Church Nuevo Amanecer on Industrial Park. I don't remember the address, but
And we will be sharing it. It's 1481 Industrial Drive. It's
1481
space
Industrial
number
Drive, space number 1. Yes.
Awesome. And that will be at 5:30.
Yes, 5:30 to 7:30, and you can please come there and ask questions.
Okay.
You know, the way we as supervisors learn about how things need to get done is by people telling us that, hey, we have a problem here, or hey, can we fix this?
Of course.
But one thing I would like to ask everybody, please, if you have a county employee that goes above and beyond, and he does a good job or a great job, and you feel that he needs to be recognized, please call your supervisors and tell them, hey, ask the employee his name, and call it in and say, hey, this guy did a great job.
Awesome.
You know what? I remember as a DPS officer that I got a lot of accolades from the public. And it always made me feel really good.
Awesome.
It made me feel like, wow, I did my job.
Yes.
You know, and even better yet, when I arrested somebody for DUI, and he came back and later said, thank you, you changed my life. You helped me.
Right.
You know, there's nothing better than that.
Right.
And employees want to hear that. Employees don't want to hear just, oh, they didn't do nothing, or they're doing this, or they're not doing that, or, you know, there are good employees. Let's honor them. Let's let them know.
Definitely, because we have amazing people
Yeah.
in our community. We have
We do.
great, leaders, great business owners, great artists, and that's what again we want to make sure that it's what it gets exposed as well.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that commitment. Sharing who's going above and beyond in what they do and helping and caring for the community so they can be highlighted. And please let us know, because we will do that shout
Well,
out as well.
When that happens, when, God willing, if I'm in there, I will be
Yes.
calling you and I'll be
Of
saying, hey,
course.
Maritza, guess what? We have this employee of the month, this employee of the month. And then at the end of the year, we'll choose one employee of the year.
Yes.
And we'll let the people decide that.
Yes, awesome.
It'll be between the people and the supervisors and the people that supervise that employee to tell us, hey, this employee deserves to be employee of the year because of
Right.
X.
Right. Thank you.
He continued, does the job great and whatever, you know.
Yes, of course, and thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for acknowledging our community. So, Mr. Gerry Navarro, running for District 2 for Board of Supervisor. Please share with our audience why it will be important to vote for you. What can you bring to our community as our Board of Supervisor? And then also, if you can please acknowledge our audience and invite them to vote. How important it's to vote. Every single vote counts in our small county. So please,
Well,
talk
the
to our audience.
two main things you need to see about me is this. When you go to my website, my honesty and my integrity are on display. And not just 1 year or 2 years, but my career. As a police officer, you lie once, you get fired. There's no second chance. And I've already said that. So that has to talk a little bit about my background and my past. You know, to being assigned to the presidential security, you know, not anybody gets that privilege, because it's a privilege. That's the way I saw it. And nobody gets that privilege just because. And that speaks to me. My wife working for the bank for 34 years. My children grown up. 2 of them are nurses. One of them works here, and the other one works in Tucson, but they both live here in Rio Rico. That speaks to how my children grew up, how honest and how good they are. That speaks to our family. And if you wonder why our family's so close together, you might think it's me. It's not. Everything is due to my wife. And publicly, I want to thank you, Blanca. You are the most amazing wife, and I'm so blessed to have you as my wife. And I love you.
Thank you. Thank you for those words. That's also amazing, you know, to see and to hear the community and how awesome, you know, a person, a woman can be in a relationship, and then during this time, right, for running for candidates, all that push, all that, like, you can do it. So it's really amazing to see all that within, you know, many of our candidates. And I always admire all the hard work, because at the same time we're showing that girl power.
Yes,
you know?
well,
so it's
behind
awesome.
every successful man, he is an awesome wife.
That's awesome.
That's so true.
Yes.
And I am so blessed to have her, and really, you have no idea how amazing she is.
Awesome.
And I just, wow.
Pues le mandamos un saludo y un reconocimiento muy grande para su esposa, de verdad. Y déjenos saber entonces voting times.
Yes, vote, please. Oh, you know, I know Jesus and I are both veterans. But one thing you don't know, about me at least, a lot of my friends, when I went through MP school at Fort Gordon, Georgia, a lot of us got stayed stateside. And a lot of those guys were from the Army, because it was an Army base where the school was. And a lot of those MPs were sent to Vietnam. And several of them passed away over there. I would like to think the privilege they gave us to be able to vote means something to somebody here, because it means a lot to me. And they were good friends of mine. And I would think that by voting, we are honoring them and their sacrifice and their family's sacrifice. So please vote. Please understand that it's a privilege to vote. Just go to countries that don't get to vote. China. Oh, okay, they get to vote what? A lie, because we all know what happens. Russia? Really? Please vote. Please understand that it is very important. And I understand that there's some people who just don't want to vote because that's the way their religion or that's the way they were brought up. But understand this, your no vote means you don't care. That whatever government does is okay. No, it's not. We can change things. Your opportunity is here now and today that you have a candidates, not just me, but there's other candidates that are highly qualified and highly motivated to do what is right for you. Look at us, please. Know that we care. Know that we want to do the job for you, not for us, because we don't need the job. We want the job for you. We want to bring it home to you. We want you to say, wow, I live in Santa Cruz County, and instead of being the laughingstock of the state, they're going to look at us and say, oh my God, Santa Cruz County has changed. Look at them.
Yes.
Look at what they're doing. I want them to be proud of us and saying, we did it. And I don't say we as supervisors because it's not because of me. It's going to be because of you, your vote, and you being out there for us, helping us make changes, helping us getting things done. You need to back us up. You need to be there for us too, like we're going to be there for you.
Yes, thank you. Great message. Thank you. It's so important for, all of us, all Santa Cruz County, that it's registered to vote. Please go outside and start voting. Look for your places to vote. And if you don't know them, don't be afraid to ask us. Send us a message. Send your local candidates a message, and we will point you to the right direction, because we want to make sure that our county votes and that we all work together with our leaders to change our community and to have an amazing community for all of us, for our kids, for our children, for our local leaders, for our businesses. So, and let's of course, let's show, who are within our county, who are, these amazing people, and how we can change this into a very positive thing. So thank you so much, Mr. Navarro, for joining us.
One last thing I would like to say.
Course.
I want to thank your audience. I want to thank them for listening. I want to thank them for being there. I want to thank them for their vote. I want to thank them for paying attention specifically that we care. We want to make things better. So please vote. Vote for you, because we will be there for you. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you for that message. Thank you for the closing. So with that, being said, it's just our responsibility to go outside and vote. Send us a message if you need to know any information about where or how or when. We will walk you through everything, through the whole process, because we want to make sure that we all are counted, all our voices, all our votes. And as in every segment, thank you so much to our allies. This Santa Cruz County Public Media, this We Love Nogales wouldn't be possible without you, without your support from our allies. Thank you so much. Thank you for believing in Santa Cruz County Public Media and We Love Nogales. Thank you for letting us broadcast our community to the world with positive and educational news. Thank you so much. We will see you very soon with the last segments of Meet Your Local Candidates, because it's about time to go out and vote. So we only have a couple of more interviews, but don't forget, all these interviews, since the very beginning, they're in YouTube. You can see all the segments of Meet Your Local Candidates in YouTube, in Facebook, in Instagram, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. So just look for them, and if you cannot locate them, let us know and we'll send them all to you. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you very soon with another segment of Meet Your Local Candidates. Nos vemos muy pronto y muchísimas gracias, señor Navarro, por estar
Muchas gracias a ustedes.
Hasta luego.
Bye.